This village has several hundred households, and most of the families have inexplicably developed rust spots on their bodies. Even the wood has these rust spots. It seems like the rust spots have a life of their own, able to move on their own. However, this girl in front of them was not infected. Those who developed the rust spots slowly became weaker, eventually unable to get out of bed. The sick villagers blamed the girl for everything. One day, Ginkgo, a bugmaster, arrived in the village, and slowly revealed the truth. The village chief told Ginkgo that this illness had started 14 years ago. At first glance, those infected looked normal, but certain parts of their skin became as hard as iron, and their behavior became sluggish. The worst case was the village chief's old friend, the girl's father. He could no longer get out of bed. The villagers believed the girl was the cause of it all, because after she was born, everyone around her family started to get sick. Over the years, the village chief had tried many ways to solve it, but nothing worked. The girl had also stopped talking. Since her parents fell ill, the girl had relied on the village chief's charity to survive. Every time she came to get food, the caretaker would deliberately cut the food bags, so the girl would make a fool of herself. Except for the kind-hearted village chief, the only one who treated the girl as a friend was a young boy. The boy had just arrived in the village a few days ago, so he hadn't gotten sick yet. He believed that no matter whether the girl caused it or not, she wouldn't do it intentionally. Who would want to make their family or friends sick?
お前もこうするしかないって決めたんだろ。よくやってると思う。
His words warmed the girl's heart, and because the girl couldn't speak, she could only bow to express her gratitude. Afraid of infecting the boy, she quickly turned and left. At that moment, Ginkgo arrived behind the boy. He asked many questions about the girl, but the boy didn't know much, because the girl had never spoken to him. Then Ginkgo cut off a rust spot from a door panel, and placed it next to his ear. To his surprise, he could hear the rust spots breathing. Ginkgo seemed to understand everything, so he decided to find the girl to learn more. When the girl saw Ginkgo walking toward her, she hurriedly turned and hid inside her house, locking the door behind her. Ginkgo quickly approached and expressed his intentions, saying that this disease could be cured, and that he wanted to learn more about the girl's condition. They then entered a closed room. Ginkgo lit a special incense that he brought, and then told the girl to speak, explaining that no one else would hear her voice now. When the girl heard this, she began to speak.
あなたにも錆が見えるの?
Her voice was very hoarse. The girl had originally thought her voice sounded terrible, so she went into a cave and screamed until her throat was hoarse. But no matter how she tried, whenever she spoke, the dreaded rust spots would spread to nearby creatures. At first, the girl didn't understand what was happening, thinking it was all normal, and she even often sang for everyone. But when the rust spots started appearing on everyone, and they began to feel sluggish, the girl realized something was wrong. Frightened, she told her parents. When her father learned of it, he warned her to keep it a secret. If the villagers found out, they wouldn't be able to live there anymore. At that time, her parents had already been covered in rust spots, unable to work or earn money. They survived only because of the village chief's kindness. Her father wanted her to live well in the village, so he continued to gain the sympathy of others. It wasn't until they could repay the kindness that they could speak. After that day, the girl never spoke to anyone again. In her heart, the villagers' indifference toward her was forgivable, because she chose to protect her family. After hearing the girl's story, Ginkgo understood the cause of the problem. The girl's voice was mixed with something else. The wild